Welcome back, everyone, to another Let It Cook. What's going on, everybody? It's James. It's Burke. It's Pierce. Welcome back, everybody. Pierce, how's it going? I know you're just waking up. How's that coffee? How's that, Joe?
It's very good. It's my GitHub mug. I'm not quite sure what's happened to this mug, but it's in really rough shape over here. But as you know, James, you got to be careful when I got a coffee mug, open coffee mug on this desk.
Open coffee. Exactly. It could just go anywhere. You got 18 machines around you, and by the end of the day, they'll all need to be refreshed. By the way.
So even if you're not interested in the topic we'll discuss today, you should stick around to see if I ruin my machine before the end of this 60 minutes.
What's the poly market on it?
We could probably start one. I bet we could start one.
I would say 75-25 likelihood.
Ooh, yeah, I'll take that.
We had a crowded desk here. I got, a Spindrift. I got some LaCroix. I got some water. I got my lunch from yesterday. So the danger potential is high already.
At 9 in the morning? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's right.
Talking about cooking, Burke, is that a cooking coffee cup?
This is a Next mug.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have this thing where I pour a cup of coffee, drink a little bit, then it gets cold. Then I stick it in the microwave, and then I go back to my desk and I forget that it's in there. And then I go back to the microwave and it's cold. So I have to heat it up again. And then I go back to my desk, forget it's in there. And so I have and so it keeps it hot, which is really nice, but you have to keep it on the little like charger coaster thing or the battery just dies. Oh. And then you can't stick this cup in the microwave and forget about it. Yeah, it's just cold coffee.
And you can't stick it in the microwave, right?
You cannot. I mean,
it's got electronics.
You can stick anything in a microwave.
That's true. That's true. So for Heather, my wife, I got her one of those mugs. And the problem is you can only use that mug. Like that's like once you have that mug, you have no other mug. So you might as well just throw every other mug away or donate it. And Heather likes her mugs. So she used it for a while. She really did like it because she drinks coffee slower. Like the coffee just doesn't even get cold ever. It's already gone. I filled this 1 minute ago and it's already gone. You're
drinking a lot of coffee there.
I drink a lot of coffee a day. I roast my own coffee.
What do you like? Are you 4 cups a day?
Yeah, 3 or 4, 5 depends. It doesn't faze me. It's just a lot of coffee.
You have to bump it back down. I was out of control. I mean, Burke knows I would take like 8-10 shots a day. Like my HRV was destroyed. Like that's the problem with like all the measurables and everything now, So you really do have to bump it down. That's too much. Even 4 is too much.
Try this. Look at these free wrists.
No wearables? No, what?
These are just rings.
We have evolved.
No. This is just a stainless steel ring. No aura.
Are you aura ringing?
No. These are just rings. These are normal rings. No auras. No technology. No, just metals. Just no metals. No electronics. It's here, but it's over here. It's off. It's reset. It's disconnected from my phone. I had to go to my home screen because I had the widget there before.
Yeah.
And then I had to remove it because it would just not show anything. And now there was a big blank space on my home screen. I was like, I don't know what to do. So Safia turned me on to she's like, you know what? You're going to go on walks and you're going to work out anyways. You don't need your watch to tell you to do that.
I think I'm going to get a Motorola Razr. They relaunched it. That was the phone of my childhood when I was growing up. And I want one of those again.
But it's not an actual razor though, right? Like it's like
a remastered razor.
Foldable razor, right?
Wait, no, I don't want the foldable. I want the old school flip up T9 razor. Do they not make that?
You want a dumb phone.
Well, it is basically a dumb phone, yeah. But as you're going to show us today in the stream, I could always still wire up my Razr dumb phone to a text service and probably still instruct my agents what to do from my Razr phone.
It would just be harder and more frustrating. Hey, did they reboot original Razr? Did that really happen?
They rebooted with a flip. I think it's like all touchscreen now. But I don't know if they put physical.
I don't want to. I want to go like old school. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's the brand, but it's not the phone.
No, that makes me disappointed then. I don't want that. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. This isn't the Motorola Razr I know.
But Burke, to your question about 4 of these a day, three or 4 of these a day. So just normal mugs of coffee, sometimes bonus. So what I got Heather though is back to our coffee situation. She likes to use other mugs. So they actually just make little warmers. So you can get this, you plug it in and it just keeps this warm. So you can put any mug on top of it like that. It'll just keep any.
But that doesn't seem like that would work very well. Like
it does.
It seems like it might be warm at the bottom, and
it's probably not as good. But if you're like you, which it seems like that one cup of coffee takes you 24 hours to drink, then you probably need that.
Yeah,
but
it takes all day to drink 2 cups.
Because the problem is once you put that coffee into the microwave, you have killed that coffee, so it's dead. Yeah, it's dead. You've completely altered its chemical makeup.
How is it dead?
It's dead. Go watch James Hoffman on his YouTube. He'll see microwave coffee.
This sounds like pseudoscience.
No,
because fake news.
Because microwaves, they they blast microwaves. It's like technology, like in things. You've killed it.
This is not a good explanation.
Oh, did my camera freeze?
Everybody, you're frozen up.
Now I'm John Galloway.
Now you're John Galloway. What is going on?
John Galloway's on the screen. Is this the real James Montemagno?
Oh no!
Oh, by the way, boys, last night,
you're good.
Last night I saw Project Hail Mary.
Oh, how was it?
Early preview. It's outstanding. It's not, I mean, it's the same vibe as The Martian. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as The Martian, but it's a very different kind of movie, right? It's a little bit, it's even more sci-fi than The Martian is, but highly recommended. I think it's out today.
That's so far.
That's our, no, it's not Ryan Reynolds. It's Ryan Gosling, right?
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
He was just on SNL. Hilarious. Okay, we're cooking. We're back, people. Okay, so today we're going to be cooking from scratch. See what I did there? From scratch. It's actually more like baking from scratch. I don't know if you're cooking. I guess you could cook from scratch as well. This is my new browser, guys. I don't know if you guys just are about using VS Code as your browser, but this is my browser. You know why it's my browser?
Are you seriously using VS Code as your browser?
Yeah, because here, then I don't have to worry about all my Microsoft Intune. I can actually see the SDK issues. I don't have to like do
a lot. I've been trying to get, there's a bug we need to fix, but I've been trying to get TikTok to work in this so I can run TikTok while I'm watching my agents. I
like that.
We're evolving.
There is legitimately a Y Combinator. Prime did a video on this. There's a Y Combinator project right now for an IDE that just does this. It has, this is an actual YC backed thing. There's an editor or an AI like prompting interface and a freaking shorts thing to stream reels. So you can watch reels while your agent cooks.
Well, people do that anyways. I saw the Instagram reels and stuff because I'm old and use Instagram reels and not TikTok. So they're doing it anyways. Might as well do it right on your computer.
I think reels is where the kids are.
That's where the kids are now?
I think so. I think, people are back on the IG. They're back in the IG. Yeah. I think
it's what I know.
Is Facebook reels different from Instagram reels or are those?
I'm sure it's the same, but just hearing the term Facebook reels for me, man.
Dude, have you ever sold anything on Marketplace? Just get ready to be hit up. Is that available? Is it still available? Is it still available? And then you're like, yes. And then no one replies ever.
Yeah, you just get ghosted.
I never know if
just
I'm
like when I text Burke.
Murdered when I go meet someone for a Facebook Marketplace transaction. I'm like, this could be it. I
do think about that.
We need to cook. We're way after.
All right. Copilot SDK. So Burke, what is the Copilot SDK?
Nobody knows. Yeah. By the way, hold on. So, the Copilot SDK is just the easiest way to think about it is just the ability to embed the Copilot CLI into anything.
What?
And that doesn't make a ton of sense, like without seeing it in action, which is what we're going to do today is like just build something on top of it. But essentially you can just bake an agent into anything. And it comes with the Copilot CLI agent harness. And remember, the harness is the system prompt, but it's also like skills and MCP servers and the tools, right? The ability to read files and write to things. So you get all that for free. And then you can just use it through the Copilot SDK. That's essentially what it is. That's all it is.
I like it. And it's available in all sorts of programming languages. And they just launched the official Java SDK. Bruno on the team. They had a community version. Now it's official as well. So you can got Node, Python, Go, .NET, Java, all the things. So I built a little thing. I do a lot of podcasts, VS Code podcasts. Like, subscribe, vscodepodcast.com. So this is my podcast metadata generator. I think Burke and I have built 1,000 metadata generators, chapter summaries, things like that. So this is running locally. This is a Blazor server app. This is like a server app. And when this boots up, it just checked like the CLI access. It's like, I got the CLI and I'm authenticated, right? So I'm on my machine. It's using the CLI. It actually bundles the CLI into the SDK on deployment. You can run it locally. You could run it on a server. You'd obviously have to handle authentication because it's whoever's logged in is using your Copilot subscription. But I can go over here. Look at that little emoji. That's cute. I can choose a file. I'm going to choose one. There you go. You can see that. That's cool. Oh, you can actually, that's kind of cool. You can actually see the file picker because it's inside of VS Code. Crazy. Right. And then here I can say, oh, what do I want to generate, right? Because I can give it additional context in the system prompt. I'm just going to give it titles. I'm going to say generate metadata. Look at this. Wow. So what's happening here is it's taking this metadata and it's shoving it off basically with this big system prompt. And it's like, take this big transcript, which is like every chapters, if you're watching closed captions. And then what it's doing is it's sending it off to the Copilot SDK, which is then using the Copilot CLI and all those tools, using a model that I've selected, anything from my Copilot subscription. And it's going off and it's generating different titles. It's generating a summary that I can copy, and then it's going to generate YouTube chapters. And that's important because it has all those timestamps. And it has to basically become a like YouTube like chapter expert basically, and understand how to format it, how to do it. So it's a big system prompt. And then I give it a bunch of different things. You can see all the system output here, and it's going through and it's streaming these results back here. And this is like really basic, like as far as I'm not using any tools really. I'm just giving it like a prompt. You know, this could be the same as if I went into Copilot or ChatGPT and I just did this, but I built my reusable tool, right? Now I could do a lot more because it's an application. So I could say, oh, go find all of the files and cron job this and then go do a bunch of stuff, right? So this is a real application that I'm running here. And now I could take this, I could export it. I could redo other, you know, different descriptions, things like that, and then export these files as well. So like that's something I built because I wanted it, because I used to have to do this like every single day when I was doing podcasts, and it would take me time. Now it takes me, what, 15 seconds? And that's very nice to have. So that's what I've built with. I built a bunch of other little things with it, but like as an example there. And like it's really, really straightforward. So I have like a one file. I mean, this is like the simple like one file for it. But to keep it like really simple, like what you're doing is you create a Copilot client, and then the client can like check authentication status on there, which is very nice. Then I have a little thing that will go through and pick the model of my choosing. And then this is kind of it, right? You're able to create a session. So you can have unlimited, multiple sessions all running at the same time, just like you could inside of VS Code, right? Or the CLI. I give it the model. I say it's streaming. And then there's new permissions. I'm just going to say approve all, but you can actually handle every single permission. Like if it was to read a file, write a file, do a thing. And then you have a system prompt. So this is the system prompt, which is you are a podcast editor, blah, blah, blah. And then you create the session, and just like I'm using that session, and you get like these events basically that come in. So it's streaming in these events, and you get these messages, these deltas, and you saw it streaming in over and over again. And I'm basically putting that into this response builder and just kind of outputting it into the terminal, or putting it out into this web application. And then when it's done, it's like, cool, I'm done. And this is all I give it really. This is like the TLDR version, but I say, hey, like, here's what you're going to do. Here's the rules. Here's the things. The first chapter is always at 0, use the timestamp. And then here's the transcript and go, right? Like super basic, right? In general. Now, the difference is if I wanted to do this before the SDK, what I would end up doing is going and getting like an OpenAI key, or using Apple Intelligence if the transcript was like 1 minute because the context window is so small. Or I'd go to Microsoft Foundry, and then I'd spin up an instance, and I'd go like create in my application, right? For like production level, like what I would do. But here, this is like a little tool for me. Now I could give this to anyone. I could deploy it and have people log in, but now anybody could go and use this, and it just uses my Copilot subscription. That's my demo, Burke. Of like,
wait, I can go use it, and it uses your Copilot subscription. Do I have that right?
No. Well, if I deploy it to a server and I log in on that server with my Copilot subscription, then like yes, technically. but you would log in with yours on.
I wonder, do we have a model? I don't even know the answer to this. We need like Patrick here, but like what happens if you want to deploy something on the SDK where it's just under your subscription, right? And people are like paying, like, can you do that?
I don't think so.
You need to basically configure managed identity. And so the way you do this today, I was actually chatting with Patrick about it. They're going to make it better, like core built in with the SDK, but you basically use managed identity. And Copilot CLI supports bring your own key. So you do managed identity plus bring your own key, wire that up into Copilot CLI, and you still get the core loop. Now you're not getting the inference from your Copilot sub, right? But that's okay.
When does the CLI support bring your own key?
Copilot SDK apparently does. Maybe I'm saying
I don't think it's in the CLI, but it's in the SDK. That's
right. Sorry. Either way, I think it is in the SDK because I was chatting with Patrick about this yesterday because there's a lot of people who have scenarios like this, like me included, where I built something, right? I really like the agent loop that I get with the SDK. Even if I could in theory say like use like this pooled inference from GitHub Copilot, I don't really know if that's the right thing. If you were to deploy this as like a SaaS app, right? You would want to actually have full control over the inference stack, right? But in terms of like fast prototyping and stuff, it's great to use my Copilot sub. So yeah, I think that's something that they're considering for the SDK very soon.
Yeah, and there's a lot happening too. So like I said, this is kind of like the basics. However, like if you go get out of here, files. If you go into, the samples, you can see like here's that like request session, and like this is just hard coding it. But there's all sorts of things too. So you can set MCPs, you can set the tools, you can look at available tools that are available. Obviously, if it's on your machine, you have like MCPs configured, then it would just like use those. Whereas like, let me see if I have, there's like prompts. You can like send attachments to it, right? So you can send images for it to understand and kind of know what's going on there. You have the streaming results that are coming in with those events. And then it also technically has infinite sessions as well. So it can kind of keep going in the different thresholds. So you have a lot of control over this. And here are like those tools. So you could like create a function that it calls that is a tool. So it knows how to, do something like, identify an issue and fetch it basically. You can override tools as well. Like if you want your own custom edit files, all sorts of stuff, basically. There's like a bajillion things that you can do with this thing. And like we were talking earlier, you can have multiple sessions all at once, right? Why just have one? Just have multiple all simultaneously going onto it. And there's your bring your own key right there. There it is. It's in the documentation.
Boom.
Boom.
Read the manual, or your agent should read the manual.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My agent didn't tell me that was possible. So.
Yeah, what I like to do is just copy this README and then just put it into my
That's pretty cool. So wait a minute, when you bring your own key, then you're not getting charged premium requests, right? But I mean, you're still paying your Copilot sub, but
no, you're basically saying like all of my inference goes through this thing. So you at that point you don't need the Copilot.
So if you wanted like Chemi or Minimax or any of those, you could do that.
Here. Well, that or like I mean, like okay, say I deploy, I don't know, like we have a feedback app I've written, right? Say we deploy that and everyone on my team is using that. If it was using my identity, right? The problem with this is like I'm going to get rate limited, right? On my personal subscription, and your subset. So the patterns of like how you use the Copilot API are very different when you're using a SaaS app versus like a coding agent, and you make it like it's not an ideal thing to do, I think, at scale. And so that's why I kind of like this, because I think obviously it's great using my Copilot inference for like personal things, but like if I'm going to deploy it to lots of people and want to make it a production thing, the thing that I really like about the SDK is I get access to this really great agent loop. Like you don't have to go build all that yourself. Like the team is doing offline evals and everything, and that's all taken care of for you. And you can very trivially wire in your own inference when you're ready to go to like a dev test, kind of beyond dev test, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
So that's how I would describe it.
Yeah. So you could throw in your Foundry key, your OpenAI key, and
exactly.
It's got open telemetry in there. So if you're using like Aspire or something like that. So it's got all this stuff. It's crazy. And here's all the different permissions. So shell, write, read, MCPs, things like that in it. There's all sorts of crazy stuff. I just updated this documentation too. I like when the team lets me do stuff. There's system hooks, like there's session hooks. Like, so you basically have that. Like, when like VS Code, we were just talking about like all the hooks and all the things like you can leverage that like in your own applications as well. It's pretty bananas, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. But today we were supposed to be cooking from scratch.
We can still do that.
Yeah, you want to cook from scratch?
We got time.
I think we're gonna build.
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Yeah, share your screen because Burke built something really cool.
What? No, not again.
Is it dangerous? Let's see. What model is used for summarizing infinite sessions? I don't know. I'd have to ask the team. Burke's gone. He probably forgot to. He forgot to like. He has to like give it permission to do stuff.
Permissions issue again.
New machine. Who dis? I think it's going to use whatever model is you've selected, but I don't know if you can pick the specific model on it. That's a good question. Yeah. What model did this design? Oh, what model did the design of my app right here? Ooh, I don't know. This was a while ago. This is probably, I don't know. It looks pretty good. It's got some gradients up top, so it's probably like a Codex model or something. I don't know. It could be an Opus model. You only know because it's like, this is pretty straightforward. I just try to keep it real simple. Oh, he's back, people. He's back. Did it work, Burke? You back?
I'm back. So yeah, sorry about that. Chrome didn't have the ability to share screen because anyway, Pierce, by the way, I was telling James, Edge has this site, like Microsoft currently has StreamYard blocked as malicious.
So I saw that same thing when I booted this up. I was like, did James put something in my Outlook calendar invite that I wasn't supposed to see? So I also, in my top left corner right now, have it marked dangerous. To be fair, the stream is dangerous.
Yeah, there's a giant dangerous, hold on, throw that up there, James.
Okay,
there's some inception, but y'all can see, maybe just like, look at the giant dangerous tag up here in the corner. You really have to click through. Okay, you have to want it. All right, so let's talk about, what is this? I'm in the wrong folder. Let me move to the right folder. Yeah, that's the one. Where's my completions? Yeah, so let's talk about like these claw things, like OpenClaw. If I say OpenClaw, you know what that is, right? Does everybody know what that is?
I never heard of it.
Never heard of it. So OpenClaw, where's my cursor? There it is. Yeah, I think on Mac, if you shake it a lot, it becomes big. There it is. OpenClaw is this, how would you describe it? It's an agent. Really what it is it's an agent harness that runs on your machine that talks to some LLM in the cloud, but then it has access to do all these things like read your email and look at Slack and search the web. And so people can do all kinds of, it's just like a personal assistant. And it became popular. Peter, he's actually going to be at Build, by the way, Chad.
Yes.
He's coming to Build. Peter Steinberger, the guy who built it, will be I think he's speaking at Build.
Yeah, he's going to give a talk at Build.
Yeah,
he's going
to
be where? He's going to be at Build. Where? In San Francisco, June 2nd and 3rd. Wow, natural ad placement for Microsoft Build. Wow, I'm pretty good at this. Yeah. Yeah. Registration open today. Come see us and Peter.
Yeah, so Peter will be there, and so he sort of kicked off. What would you call it? Like he was the first person to sort of like show that you could do this, that you could have this agent that ran locally and could do anything. Like it's one of those things where everyone knew that you could do this. It's just no one had done it because I don't know, like it was too dangerous, or I don't really know. But then once you actually see it work, it's pretty phenomenal. So James, you're talking about like, let's just show people so we can show like what we're going to build here. What is the thing that you were trying to do the other day? Because like in order to show people how these things are useful, we have to automate something in our own lives. Why is managing Windows on Mac OS so hard?
Yeah, probably need like rectangles, and you need about 1,000 other extensions to install on your machine. Yeah, that is the bane of my existence.
Like what were you like? So let me show you something I was trying to do yesterday. Yesterday, what I did was I said something like, hey, Max, can you go back and look at the last 6 updates for Visual Studio Code just on the code.visualstudio.com website? and then put together a PowerPoint presentation of the latest features for the upcoming MVP Summit next week, focusing on multi-agent orchestration, background, steering and queuing, the new agent sessions, anything else that looks important for the growth of agentic development in Visual Studio Code.
Well, how you're putting me on blast with this. Like Burke was just telling you before this stream, like we should talk about our talk next week. And now we're giving it to his claw. Okay.
And so, so you can see now it's typing. And this is actually running on my machine. So let me grab, where's my terminal?
So this is something that's running on your local machine here. So right it's from WhatsApp, or Telegram. It's communicating.
So I'm telegramming into it. This is the interface. There's also a TUI interface here. So if we went over here to, right, we could do it like this too, but I'm doing it from Telegram because it's just a little bit nicer and because it's on my phone. So when I actually did this the first time, I wasn't at my desk, I was walking, right? So here, scraping the last 6 months of releases, building the deck, I'll ping you when it's done.
Wow.
Now, just to like speed ahead here, how do you get to the desktop? There, look at that. So let me show you so this is what it built. Right? Nice. Now, it's not perfect. I had to go through and like make some changes here. This is kind of what we're going through in the MVP Summit next week. I won't be this. This is just like I had to put something together for Pierce and I to go over, and this is what we'll look at. But you can see it's pulled in, it's read from the different releases. You know, the styling isn't perfect, but you get the idea. Like it did this on its own, and then I get to come back to the desk and like work with this. So that's how I actually use this thing for work in my own life. I do the same. Like James, we had to put together. Just so I have a chat, just so you know, what we're doing when we're not doing this is figuring out how do we do advocacy, what we call advocacy, right, around products like the Copilot CLI. And what does that mean? Well, it means a lot of things, but you can sort of break it down into like awareness, which is stuff we're doing right now, right? So if you're watching this stream, you're already on the cutting edge. You're already ahead of everybody else by miles. And then, so you have awareness. That's kind of like what is new in the CLI? What can it do? Like, let's explore, let's poke it, let's look at new workflows. And then, you know, next underneath that, you have like community. And that's, are we engaging with you on Twitter, on Reddit, on LinkedIn, right? Do we have a healthy Discord place for the community to be, to talk, right? Those kind of things. And then you have internal advocacy, which James's team does a lot of. This is stuff nobody sees, but we actually advocate internally for the tool as well. Because you would think at Microsoft, we would just tell people, hey, everyone use this tool, but that isn't how it works. That isn't how it works, right? You have to have the best tool and you have to convince people that that's the case. And so I had it create, because I need to come up with a plan. So I had to create a document to do that. And because it can write Word documents, right? Like, here's the plan. Like, let's just bring it up. None of this stuff is super secret. This is what we do in our day jobs, y'all. Right? So I have to come up with a plan first. So here's the plan. We're going to split it up by work stream. Here's me. I'm going to own the first one, right? Then here's Christopher. Maybe he's going to own the skilling one. Skilling is like getting started. Like, how do I migrate a legacy app? These are all the things that we have to cover to make sure that we have enough content. And again, you can see it's putting this together, the plan together for me, but then I have to go in and tweak it. But that's what I'm currently doing with my personal assistant. And what we want to do in this stream is I want to show you how you can like build one of these in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, what I've been trying to build for the team is we do all these sort of reports of like what the team's been doing. Like we do a bunch of tracking like on GitHub, but also we do like reports basically for like YouTube. Like, how is the VS Code YouTube doing, right? And also like how is the VS Code podcast doing, right? For example. So that one is, you know, not only like how is it doing, what's the status, like how did the videos and shorts and live streams this week do, right? And like ideally what I wanted to do is go off and like generate a report that Daisy could just go and take, but then also like go update the GitHub automatically for me, right? Like go and update the GitHub issues, post something back automatically, right? Which would be pretty cool. So that is something that is kind of top of mind that we're trying to do in like a personal sort of assistant form. And that could be, these personal assistants can be anything, right? It could be an app like I showed earlier. It could be this chatbot that's earlier. It could be a terminal. Like there's 1,000 ways of running these things, basically.
Well, and I think like something interesting happening right now with all these coding agents is obviously they were primarily built for coding scenarios, but what people are finding is like the types of optimizations that made it really good at coding scenarios also make these harnesses really good at kind of generic non-coding things as well. Yeah. And so like whether it's Copilot or Claude Code or whatever it is, you see a lot of people using their developer subscription for non-developer tasks, and they're getting great results with it. And that's because a lot of the harness optimization you do for those scenarios work great for personal stuff too.
Totally. Yeah. So should we build something like that, Burke?
Let's build it. So let me show you how I would go about this. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the research, and I'm going to have it research the Copilot SDK repo.
/GitHub /Copilot SDK.
Thank you. That's not going to work very well.
Yeah.
So this is the very first thing, because I wanted to know everything it can possibly know about the SDK, right? Like I wanted to know that I can use bring your own key, because I don't know that. So
I do not know that either.
The only thing better than reading the docs is having the agent go out and read the docs and read all the code. So, right. So you can see it's going through and it's doing all this. This is built in. This research is built in. And I think, is it just, GitHub search and web sources. So I think you can do deep research on anything, right? Research 2012 Ford Explorer starting issues. This would probably work. I think this would
Is that what you have? Is that your vehicle? I mean, it's probably got a lot of starting issues.
Yeah, he's got an issue. Well, that's what you get for owning a Ford Explorer. It's not my fault. That should be the answer, right? One line. So it's going through, it's looking at all this. We're just gonna kind of let this cook, but this is how I would start this, is that because we're gonna build everything on the SDK, I need for Copilot to know everything it knows about the SDK. Now,
why wouldn't you just use context 7 or something like that, or like put a file like that? I was thinking about this earlier, because this is how I've been thinking about researching and starting a project, and I didn't think about using research, and I have used it before, but yeah, what do you think the three differences? Because I could also go into plan mode, right? And I could plan something out, and then it would kind of do some research.
That's exactly what we're going to do. So if we remember how does an LLM work? In an LLM, every token that gets generated is informed by the previous token. And so what is it asking me to, what does it want me to do? Oh, it wants me to sign in so it can create that document that I asked it to create.
Your Max, yeah. Yeah,
Max is asked. So it has a browser instance that it will ask me to sign into on occasion. So when you are building something, if you can start and have it go read context 7, and it may read what it needs to read, and it may not. And context 7 is good. I actively recommend that people use it, and it's part of my built-in agent here. But if before you do that, you already have those tokens, then it informs everything that comes after. So you're just going to get a more accurate result if you do the research first, if you have it first and then you do the plan, versus doing the plan and having the AI do the research. It may or may not actually research the right things at all.
That makes sense.
So that's the general idea here, is that you're just playing to the strengths of the AI. So, all right, so we have create a research directory. It's creating a report. That's good.
I kind of want the research to be in this folder a little bit, because then I can just view it in VS Code. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
There's probably some magical shortcut that you know about that I have no idea.
There is. I'll show you 2 ways to do it.
Okay, cool. I like that.
When it's actually done writing this, it's gonna be lengthy, as you can imagine.
Not Cliff Notes. It's the full. It's writing the full. It's writing the full book.
It's deep research. Yeah.
Deep research. Yeah, I guess that is a little bit different too. Is like you can see here, if you were just in plan mode, it would be a lot faster, do a bunch of things. But it did a lot of things in this instance of getting files, getting issues, getting things, understanding all sorts of different bits and pieces of it in general.
This is one of the places where I really miss the chat interface, and I wonder, I can probably just pull it up here and see.
It's right there.
Yeah. So it's made this directory. What's it actually doing? Is it doing anything? Pierce, I feel like we still don't see, like if I was using the local agent, I would see more granular updates here.
That's right. Yeah, it's a different level of partnership, right? Like I both it's hard because I like both actually. Sometimes I do like seeing the details, but like also I like in Copilot CLI, sometimes I just want that higher level partnership with the model. And I think kind of the UX constraints of the terminal kind of force it to stay higher level, right? Because if you were spitting out everything you see in chat with all the collapsible sections and things like that, the messiness that you would see in your terminal would be way too much, right? So all the same things are happening, but like just what's being reported back to you is maybe a little bit higher level in the CLI.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, it gets better every release, so I'm excited about that because I do like when it's stuck like that. I do want to know, right? Like what do you do there?
Yep.
Okay, so you're asking like how do we? So there's two ways you can do this. One of them is like you just click on this and open it in Visual Studio Code. This is why we like Visual Studio Code, y'all, right? Because you can't do this in the terminal. And then once you have that open, I don't know if people know this, but you can just do this. Like,
oh, what?
There's some things in Visual Studio. The thing that's so beautiful about Visual Studio Code is that like it just works.
Like, yeah, you'd imagine you're like, oh, I have this file, just drag it here, and then it just does it.
It should just work, right? I could just drag this tab in? Yes, in Visual Studio Code you could do that. But these are the things that come from 10 years of of development, of monthly releases, right? You don't want to just leave all these features on the table just because you're using the CLI. Okay, the other way that you could do this, delete backspace, command backspace, that's good. Yeah, move that to the trash. Is I think somebody from sales, and I forget their name. I think they're from sales on the GitHub side. Was like, hey, bro, you could just do share, and then I think you can do this. That's the session. Ooh. How do I share? How do I share just the? Because see, it says.
I think then type in file, then research, then research.md.
Like this.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Boom. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. All right. So that's the other way to do it. My way is sexier, though. Let's do my way again. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that's the whole session. Boom.
Yeah, just like this.
Boom.
Wait, what? Command click.
Oh, you deleted it because you deleted the file. You better reshare quick.
It's on 2 lines. You know what? You know what else you can do? Command Z would just bring the files back. Did you know you can do that? If you delete a file, you just Control Z and bring them back. Telling you, man.
It's probably all in the timeline.
Yeah.
Might be onto something with this VS Code thing.
Yeah, it might be. Oh, no. I guess you didn't make any changes to the files.
All right. Okay. So we have our research. If we look at it, like, whoa.
Whoa. It's beautiful.
I mean, it looks like good research. How would I know?
Yeah. Ship.
So next, what we want to do is we're going to start a new session here. And we're going to update because there's an update.
Always be updating. Oh, I did a pull request last night to the CLI. So when you do Copilot update, it actually gives you a status report. I'm very excited about it. It tells you that it's updating outside when you're not in the TUI. When you're outside the TUI, it'll actually tell you that.
Did you know you can add announcements to the Copilot SDK?
What?
Yeah, there's an array inside the Copilot config, and you can just put these in there.
That's super fun.
Yeah, but they should be auto-generated. Like it'd be nice if it was like, I don't know, something funny. I don't know what that would be though. Somebody else figure that out. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is I'm going to go into plan mode here, and I'm going to be like super vague. I'm going to say this. I would like to build a personal assistant on top of the Copilot SDK that I can use from Telegram. And then I'm going to pass in this research here.
Are you going to tell it like you want to use JavaScript, .NET? What are you going to tell it? Did she tell
more? No, I'm not telling any of that. I'm being intentionally vague because I want the plan mode to do the heavy lifting here. Like I want it to think through all of the unknowns. You know, it's hard to back this stuff up with data, but in my experience, the more stuff you try to cram in the prompt, the more confused the model gets. And it actually works better for planning if you're just like as vague as you can be, and then just let it walk through and clarify things with you. It will do the clarification and get it in a format that isn't confusing. All right, so which SDK language do you want to use?
There you go.
Now, we could do like Go, because we don't know Go at all, but that doesn't really matter.
Well, it depends if there's a Go library for Telegram, I guess.
I'm afraid. I'm just going to go with TypeScript.
Yeah. Well, and the thing you said yesterday, I don't know if it was an internal chat or on Twitter or wherever, about context, is you did /new, and I've been doing these infinite sessions, so I just keep going, and I feel like that's wrong. And I'm like, you with like GPT 5.4 or whatever, it's like I got a pretty big context window, but like you said something about like, what was your analogy for context windows and like shoving things
into a room? It's not a memory, it's a room.
It's a room.
Yeah.
Yes. And the more things you shove in that room, the more cluttered it gets and harder to find things.
Correct.
I think that's a beautiful analogy. And I don't think I've seen that. I don't know if you stole that from somewhere or if that's from your dome, but that was a great analogy that I'm just going to steal and use all the time. Cause I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. Cause when you walk in and you like look at your desk and you're like, I hate everything and I don't know where anything's at. And I don't know if I should work. Like Pierce's desk, it's just like, it's full of so much context. It's like, what can you even find the LaCroix? What is a LaCroix? No idea. Yeah. Everything's just covered with coffee. So like you want that clean, beautiful, and you can almost like free your mind of it. It's like beautiful.
Yes. And it also causes the more cluttered the context window gets, the more hallucinations happen. Because what happens is the LLM, we talked about how each token informs the next token. So what happens is there are conflicting instructions, right? You don't realize that this is happening, but it gets confused. And so what it will do in its thinking process is, well, the user said this, but then they said this, but then they said this. But then they said this. Well, what I'm going to do is just this, right? And at that point, it's just made up its own answer, even though you told it what to do, right? And that's exactly how hallucinations happen.
And two questions from the chat. Everyone wants to know: are you using Handy.computer or are you using something else for voice dictation?
I'm using Handy. Yeah, definitely Handy, y'all. It's the only. I don't know how to. The notch is in the way, so I can't. How do I?
It's up there.
Wait, I can like move this around, can't I? No.
I have a
you can.
On the chat thing. So we actually ran an experiment, and we basically encourage people to create chats more frequently. And the really interesting thing about that is they were getting much higher retained code than when they were using the same one, for this exact reason. Because what Burke is saying, it's not even just the context you put in your prompt. The way agents work, it's sending the previous messages as history every single API call to the model. And so anything that is previous in your conversation, whether you gave it to the model or it was part of the model's reasoning summary or outputs, that's all crammed in there. And so then to Burke's point, like when you're iteratively working with something, that's all accumulating, right? And then if you're suddenly like, oh, and this other thing, by the way, then it's like, but I'm confused because also in the same API request, you've given me all this other data as well, saying you don't want to do that. And so like, it's generally better to start new chats or a new conversation with the LLM when you have a different task that's not a great continuation of what you were just doing. And we have data to support this in our offline evals, and also we've done the online experimentation, like I just said.
Crazy.
100%, right? Like, just remember, folks, an AI is not a human being. It doesn't have a memory. It's not going to remember that you said, no, we're going to change directions midway in the conversation and just negate everything before that. It can't do that. That just isn't how they work. Okay. So the next thing here is, what should this personal assistant actually do? Well, actually, I want it to do all of these things, but I kind of want, I want it. So I'm going to say it like this. Oh, this is great. I want you to do all of these things, but I want the assistant to be using skills to do them. And I want it to rely on the skills.sh website to find and install skills to do things for the user. Okay. Now, for those who haven't seen skills.sh, should we talk about that for a second?
Sure. Yeah.
One of y'all talk about it.
I have 0 skills. Well, skills are like prompts, except for not really. But basically, think of it as something that you want to do, or you need it to do. For example, like, oh, I want to go get YouTube, stats for a video. Well, how would you do that? What would it look like? Well, a skill could be loaded up and say, oh, we're going to use this MCP server. We're going to format it. We're going to make these calls. We're going to do this thing, right? Or it might be, oh, I'm a designer, and this is how I design XYZ things. And skills are standards, basically, and they can have resources. So they can run scripts. They can have templates. They can have a bunch of stuff. I have one, for example, that's like, here's how I specifically search GitHub, our internal GitHub repos for my team's open issues, right? And here's how I specifically set a project and do a thing. So it gives it sort of these reusable templates that can be loaded on demand. So for example, if I'm asking the chat, I'm like, hey, I need you to go, grab some YouTube stats for this thing. It's like, oh, I have a skill to do that. Let me go and do that. And there's like tons of skills out there to basically load those up on demand. That's my skills.
It was a really good summary. And here's the site. And you can even have your agent find skills so if you install this skill, then it can go find and install skills. And so say we wanted to do something like James, he said YouTube. So YouTube. Just look for YouTube. And actually shout out to Eleanor Intellitronica. If I don't follow Eleanor on Twitter or everywhere you should.
Yep.
Yeah.
She does all kinds of amazing stuff with AI. I think she does training as well. If your company needs training, talk to Eleanor. She's amazing. But this is the one I use, and I use this all the time. So like when I'm making YouTube videos, I will publish it to YouTube unlisted, and then go back to Max and give it the URL and say, give me 10 title ideas for this video. And it reads the transcript using her skill, and then comes back and says, here's 10 title ideas, right? And then it can even generate descriptions with timestamps, which is great. Oh, look, how should it authenticate? It picked up that it has BYOK. Cool. So what I'm going to do is just GitHub signed in user.
Yeah.
No, GitHub signed in user, GH auth. Is that how that works?
No, it's just who's ever logged into the CLI.
Yeah, I think, so this is a place where you need to know, I think we should just count on the user being logged in to the CLI, right? This is personal software. I don't plan on distributing this. Although I did. If you want to use my version of this, if you go to burkeholland.github.io/max, this is mine. You're welcome to download and use this, but you really should build your own. You don't need mine. Build your own. Because when you build it, then it can do anything, right? And if it doesn't do it, then you can just build it.
Yep.
Yeah, so build your own. Don't use mine. Local machine. Docker container would probably be safer, but these are demos. We don't care about security.
It's built in.
Yeah.
Run on track.
I think there's something very interesting here, though, that we're all kind of saying without saying, which is like the cool thing about like AI is we all kind of have our own way of working with it. And there are some, of course, best techniques, but like there's certain like UX flows or ways we want to partner with the agent that are different than even amongst this team, right? And the people on this call. And the really cool thing about Copilot SDK is like now you can very trivially basically create whatever client you want, right? With whatever interface you want. And that's super cool. Like, of course, we have Copilot CLI, the TUI, we have VS Code, we have Copilot and other IDEs, we have Copilot on .com. But like now, if you're like, oh, I actually prefer to work with it in this different way, you can, in like 30 minutes, create your own client. Like that's it. I don't think people fully internalize how powerful that is. It's like you can literally create any workflow you want.
Yeah, in fact, you see teams, especially teams at Microsoft, but you see things like, a bunch of teams like the .NET team and other people that are like, even sales and marketing, like, yeah, I just like built this like whole sessions manager because this is how I work, right? And they're just like, yeah, here's how I do it. I can see all my sessions. I can do this. I can spin things up, X, Y, Z, and get insight of how they triage issues. Because everyone triages issues different. Everyone triages PRs differently, right? But they build their own flows because there's not like one perfect tool. VS Code is as perfect as you can get, but it's like even how you maybe want to, triage pull requests or issues are very different than maybe like what's built in, for example. And you kind of see that over and over again. Like, for example, I would never build something like Burke has built because I only use iMessage. Like I don't use any other chat applications at all.
Yeah.
I don't even, what is a what's who? You know what I mean? A snap what? I have no idea. So like, it's just like, nobody knows. Right. So I don't have anything, right? So
well, this is the reason why people were buying Mac Minis for OpenClaw, is exactly for this reason, because here in the US, we don't use messaging apps. We just use iMessage.
It's true.
Or messages.
Yeah.
I think it's just called messages. And I know that's
why you have to have Blue Bubble. Only Blue Bubble friends. Sorry, Green Bubble friends.
Well, you can RCS. You can RCS. Then you opt in.
Yeah, but if you're a Green Bubble, it's a whole thing, y'all.
It's a whole thing.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, friend.
We're just saying that it is what it is.
We're keeping it real on this call today. You don't want to be a Green Bubble friend. You want to be that Blue Bubble friend.
It's true.
Okay, so in this case, all right, so the plan is ready for review. This is the plan, yes?
This is the plan. There's a file too.
What did I do? How do I get back out of this?
Enter.
Wait, am I in Vim?
No, you're lost. You can never get out. You can never get out now. Just restart your machine.
In the stream now. We're
folks, what was that? It just opened that in Vim. That shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't do that, people.
Go tell the team. Evan, where are you at, Evan?
Wait, I did Control E. Here's the plan. Oh, it just expands the text. I see.
Oh.
And then document.
There is a document somewhere.
Yeah, it's in because really I want to save that. So I'm going to exit the plan here. Will it tell me? Just give me the link somewhere here.
Oh, I think it's creating it. Yeah.
Plan approved. Where is it at?
Right here.
Here it is. We'll use our trick. Boom, boom. Holy
Bam.
crap.
Nice.
We're so good at the game.
Oof.
Okay, so now, because I don't want the research as part of the context, right? I don't need that. I have the plan.
Wow. Wow.
People go research that. So now we're gonna go to Autopilot, so let's kick this off. We'll talk about Autopilot. I'm just gonna say build it and then plan.md. Okay, so what is Autopilot, James? Why don't you talk about Autopilot?
Oh, that's a great question. So we just did an amazing podcast, vscodepodcast.com. You can see it right here /episode 20 with the one and only Justin Chen. Great pod. Listen to the pod, subscribe to the pod. Or you can get the video version here on the VS Code YouTube. So there are 3 modes. In fact, you can see them. Bring up your chat. Bring up your VS Code chat. Oh, it's gone. He's gone. Okay, so there's 3 modes. There's the standard mode, which you see usually in VS Code, which is basically just like, hey, you want to change a file, you want to run a command, you want to do a thing, you do add it to your allow list, accept, you're good, you're in control. Then you have bypass mode, which is YOLO mode, also available in VS Code and the CLI. And that basically will approve all of those automatically. But as I found out, YOLO mode will actually stop you if it has questions, for example. It's like, oh, I have a question. I don't know how to do that. It will stop and it will respond, or terminal input where you need to do something. Autopilot mode is another layer on top of that. So it is YOLO mode /bypass, but also it will just try to answer all the questions for you. It will then also try to input any terminal things that it may, want to do, or just say, I don't know what to do. But the loop is a little bit different, because the loop, think of it like this: it's planning, it's creating the to-do list. It's going to deploy a series of agents and sub-agents and kind of keep track of these tasks that it's completing. And it's going to set a confidence level. Basically, hey, I completed this task, but did you complete this task? Give me a confidence level. And it'll iterate over and over and over again until it is sure that it actually completed each task in the list until it's actually done. So it's another form of that loop, basically, inside of it. My camera is frozen yet again, but I'll just change to another camera, because if you don't have 18 cameras on your computer, then you're not surviving.
Autopilot's looping?
It's a different loop. So it's kind of like a Ralph loop in a way. It's coming up with this big to-do list, and it's going to see if it can parallelize that, at least in the CLI and probably soon in VS Code. Pierce can correct me if I'm wrong. But what it's basically doing is keeping track of each of those specific things that it needs to do. And it's asking for a confidence level of how sure are you actually sure that you completed that task before either marking it as done and moving on to the next task, or actually marking the whole thing that it's done. So it's in this iterative loop. Now, some might say, well, it doesn't things just naturally go through a to-do list and a planning loop when you're executing? And the answer is like, yes, but kind of not 100%. It's not doing that extra sort of loop on top of itself and revalidating itself over and over again.
Yeah.
That's what my understanding.
I didn't realize it was a loop, but that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And as I understand it, and Pierce knows more about this than I do, but there's this idea of a confidence token.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like with the like, are you really done? That confidence token. That's what it is. Yes.
Right. And this is something the LLM is looking for on its side, right? It's like, well, how does it know when to stop? Well, because it's looking for the token that gives it high confidence that it's actually done. And as I understand it, like you can manipulate that, but I don't know how. Do either of y'all know how that works? It's like, how do we get it? Is it just like, are you sure you're sure? Are you 100% sure? Is that what we do?
It is actually pretty simplistic in its mechanism. It is something similar to this.
Well, and most things are, right? Like most good solutions are very simple.
Yeah. So basically, like when the agent works, like you tell it to do something, agents can return a stop command. And that's like when we wrap up the response in Copilot CLI or inside of VS Code, it's basically the agent self-decides when it's done. And of course, there are the user prompt and the system prompt that encourage it to not do certain things. But just as we've learned with like other features in CLI and VS Code, like adversarial reviews and things like that, and being like, are you really sure? And like continuing to gaslight are actually pretty powerful techniques. And some models are more prone to returning early stop messages. Like maybe they say, hey, the code compiles, that's great. Maybe some say, well, the to-dos are completed that I generated at the beginning of the turn, we're done. But like actually, like that, both of those could actually be true and it not actually have accomplished your goal that you gave in the initial prompt, right? Yeah. Like the code compiles, I think I wrote the code that does this, but like, did it fulfill all of my actual requirements? Well, there's a lot of things that happened between when I entered in what I wanted and where we are now. And so basically what Autopilot is doing is really like being quite forceful in instructions about making sure that it's solving everything that I actually asked for in the original prompt. So the risks with this, right? You are basically, there is a potential with this sort of strategy that you're basically prodding it into doing things that maybe you actually didn't want it to do. Like you are in some ways gaslighting the model, right? Of like, oh, I'm done. Well, are you sure you're done? And like it might invent things perhaps because it wants to please you, correct? Right. And so I think that is a risk, right? All of these strategies have trade-offs. I would say generally, like for me, the productivity increase I get by using something like Autopilot is worth the trade-off that I may actually get something that maybe is overbuilt compared to what I asked for, and I have to ask it to strip it back down. That I feel like asking the agent to remove things is very easy, and I don't mind doing that. And I would much rather spend the last 10% of my time iterating with the agent to be like, okay, I didn't actually want this one little thing you did, versus like the opposite of like being annoyed because I have 10 agents running at once and they're not like being autonomous enough and doing what I want, right? So it's more about like the trade-offs you're optimizing for. But generally, like I would say my experience with Autopilot, I don't know about you guys, I actually generally don't have it overbuild for what I want, especially if you go the route that Burke has gone here, where he's done research, he's done a plan, right? And now he's giving it to Autopilot. That's way different than just taking the prompt he gave plan mode and throwing that into Autopilot and saying, please fix, right? Yeah. Like, because then Autopilot is being prompted, are you done, on something that was extremely underspecified as a prompt. Well, you can understand how that could be confusing for the model. He gave a super broad prompt, and then Autopilot's just basically asking it if it's actually really done. It's just
no idea what the constraints are.
Yeah. Exactly. There's no constraints, and that's not really what you want either. So that's why this planning workflow is actually like the way to go. And actually, like, sorry to ramble for a bit, but like the really interesting thing we saw on our team when we moved to this sort of flow is like the counterintuitive thing with agents is like when you're working in a regular software team, you would expect, hey, agents are doing more work. I spend less time in meetings, more time with my agents. But actually, we've kind of noticed the opposite. Like, I will spend a lot. It's very cheap for me to produce the code. I build the plan, I put it in Autopilot. Autopilot goes and does the work. What is actually the expensive part is what should we build? In a world where I can build anything, what are the what are the things we should build? How should it work? How should it be architected? Like the types of conversations you have about product and engineering, we spend a lot of time, like I'll talk to Pung, we'll just talk for 2 hours, right? Yeah. And that's how we start every day. And then like you set off your agents on it, we meet again at the end of the day and say, is this really actually what we wanted, right? And so maybe like counterintuitively, I actually find myself spending more time in that because that's really like what you're paying me for, right? Is my brain and the reasoning about like, what should we be doing? Because it's getting cheaper and cheaper to just spit out code. So then if that's the case, then if we can all just spit out code, then what's actually the valuable thing? Well, it's like our intuition on the right thing to do, our taste and how we want to build that, the experience we want to deliver to our customers. Because you see this now, like there's like 80 TUIs for coding agents, right? Like we're building our own OpenClaw right here. Like this sort of thing, any of us can create any client, right? And so then working in the tool space, there's a lot of conversations about, well, what should we build, right? And the same I think will be true in every industry is like, well, we could in theory build anything, but like what is actually the problem we're solving? What's the experience we want to deliver? And of course you could have the agent just try and figure that out. But like, as of right now, at least I don't think it's very good at that. And so like, we spend a lot of time on our team when we move to weekly planning in these small groups, basically saying, okay, I'm working on Autopilot. How do we make Autopilot better today? Where are we going with this experience? And we spend a lot of time in synchronous conversation. And then less time actually writing the code because things like Autopilot are doing it for us. So it's very interesting. Like that wasn't what I would have predicted when I started using this thing. But that's kind of the cultural transformation that kind of is paired with this Autopilot thing. It's like, okay, well, if the plan is actually the really important thing of like what we want to do, and the Autopilot part is fairly cheap, of course, there's still work to do there. I'm not trying to minimize it completely. Then you should spend everything to make sure you're actually giving it the right instructions, right? That's actually the higher order bit.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I think we're in this really weird place right now where people are like, wow, Opus generated 1 million lines of code last week. It just ran autonomously. And it's like, well, that isn't a measure of anything at all. Or the fact that you can ship a feature doesn't mean that you should ship that feature.
That's right.
But it sure does feel like everyone's doing that right now. Like we're just shipping everything that can be shipped. But we've long known that that is not how you build good software. But I find this
right? And the experience, right? It's both. Because if you're just like throwing things around and adding 1 million things, you're not reasoning about your system of software you're building, how you test it, how do you ensure it keeps performance and things like that. So that's one risk if you are not thoughtful about what you do. And the other is just like, okay, like if we could add 50 features to VS Code tomorrow, but the experience might degrade. Like any one feature you think makes it better. But like in reality, if your app has millions of features, like I think all the best interfaces we like, maybe they do have a lot of features, but they're very thoughtfully designed so it doesn't feel overwhelming, right? Yeah. But if you're just adding stuff to your app again and again and again, which is very tempting, by the way, because you're like, oh, I got feature requests for this. Just add it right now, right? Like it's very easy to do that. And so then like going back to code review, actually that's a big challenge for us on the VS Code team right now is not necessarily the code review parts of code review. AI is very good at that. But like, okay, should we even merge this PR, not because of the code quality, but because of, do we actually think this experience is worth delivering? Is this something we want to commit to doing? Because once we merge this, we have maintainability, we have testing, we may get other bugs we have to go solve, right? So you really have to think a lot more about those things. And for us, like, obviously we spend time up front, but then there's also the block at the end, which is the ultimate protection mechanism, which is the code review, which isn't really actually on our team often a manual like code review of like, oh, you should have used that styling, right? Like AI can do that perfectly fine. It's like actually gating to make sure that we're not just doing random stuff.
Yeah,
it's so maybe good or bad, right? Like I don't know. Like we're all figuring this out together. Like I don't think anyone actually really knows, but like I think there's a lot of like, it's really hard because I talk to a lot of customers and I think there is the like, how do you use AI and get the most out of AI conversation? But then there's a lot of things around that I actually find I spend more time talking with organizations about, which is like the cultural things around the agents. And really like, those are the things that set you up for success with any coding tool. Like that would be true even for things not Copilot, right? And so, but those are also the hardest things because if you work, I mean, we work at Microsoft, it's very hard still sometimes, right? You have the inertia of a big organization. So Yeah, it's super interesting. Like there's so many things that like in the last couple months, especially since that Opus moment, I'm like fully internalizing like all the impact of like the role definitions collapsing, how we actually build software changing. It's kind of crazy to think about. And then in 3 months, where will we be? It's even crazier to think about.
All right, I'll shut now. No, that's good. That's what we're here for.
All right, so we finished, and so there's before we actually try this, a couple things I want to point out here. So there's a custom agent that I'm using called Anvil that I've talked about before, but it does a couple things. First of all, it does adversarial review at the end. So the last thing it does, let's see if I can find it. Oh, it's above all these thinking tokens here. You might have seen it right here, right? So it's using Gemini, GPT, and Opus to review what Opus just did. And the prompt that they get is, your job is to ruthlessly critique this code and find major flaws in it, right? Memory leaks, out of memory risk, no time to live cleanup. And then what it does, the other thing it does is before it starts any work, it's kind of like Autopilot where it says, hey, before you do this, what are the things that are going to make you know that this is actually done? And then it inserts those into the SQLite database. And then when it's done, it then has to go query the database and figure out what are the things that had to pass in order for me to actually be done. And then it has to check all of them off and actually prove that it did them. It's called an evidence bundle, but it's just another way to like, did you actually do the thing? Or did you run npm run build and it failed and you were like, oh yeah, but that's okay because that's a known issue.
Yeah.
Because models do that kind of thing. So and it put it on a branch here, which is good. So now we want to run this. And I don't know how.
npm run, npm dev run.
I'm just going to do npm run and see what we've got. So we have start, build. Do I need to build first? I think let's just do start. Now we haven't added, there's no Telegram token here, which I think is going to cause an error.
Do you need to npm? Well, it should have npm installed.
Yeah, well, let's try it. Let's just make sure. And actually, it would be good if what if we because we're going to need it. So let's get a bot token here. So let's go to botfather. So we need to search for botfather. And I need to make sure, I'm going to pull this off screen because I don't want y'all seeing my.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Oh, this is fine. This is fine. We can do this.
The first time I set up my Telegram bot, I was like, is this like some sort of attack where I'm going to be sending some credential to some random person? Botfather?
100%. It does not sound.
To make sure I wasn't like being like fished.
All right, so we're just going to give this thing a generic name. Good. Let's choose a username. This one has to be unique. So it'd be let it cook assistant bot thing. Bot has to end in bot. Okay, and then we get a key. So grab this, and then I think that needs to go in here. Yep. And then how do we run this thing? npm run dev.
Yeah.
Okay. Starting Telegram bot, it's connected. Okay, and then I'm gonna click on this bot here. So the botfather gave me a link to the bot, which I hid from you because I don't want other people messaging my bot. So I'm going to start it. And then, hi, I'm your personal assistant powered by GitHub Copilot. Just send me a message and I'll help you out. Hello? Oh, it's typing. Look, something went wrong. External tool fetch conflicts with built-in tool of the same name. Your session is reset. Try again. I think this is a bug we're going to have to fix right off the bat. Right?
Love it.
Do this. So let's fix this. But you can see we're already there, right? We already have something up and running. And I wouldn't plan here. What I would do here is I'm going to do a new. Do we have? We don't. There's a debug agent in Visual Studio Code, isn't there?
I mean, I built one. It's not built in by default.
You don't have a shipped one?
No. You may have seen my demo for it.
Let's see here. Let's go with. I wonder if Sonnet can fix this. We're getting an error.
I like the Sonnet 4.6. It's taken some of my Opus usage, that and Codex, and actually GPT 5.4. All of those in combination have taken some of my Opus load.
So
I know you're a big Opus guy, but
I mean, I love Opus, but Sonnet is so much cheaper, and 4.6 is really good. And I've heard that 5.4 is outstanding, and 5.4 Mini is actually really impressive.
It's really good
for a small model. So what I usually do for debugging is I say, explain why this error is happening, and then fix. Yep. And the reason why is because, remember, like once you understand that every token informs the next token, then you understand why it's super important to have the model literally spit out what the answer is.
Yep.
And then try to fix it instead of just trying to fix it.
Yep.
You just get way better results this way. And let's see if it makes a liar out of me here. But
so it looks like it already kind of found the root cause. Super cool. I think the other thing is, like we were discussing earlier, like why would you use like research over other things? Like for me, like I'm increasingly like kind of gut-pilled of like it's easy for the agent to just self-navigate itself, and like why rely on embeddings that could be outdated or I don't have any control over, right? Not that there's anything wrong for that. For certain projects, I still use it. But like in instances where you can literally clone the source of something, like why not just do that and have the agent be able to introspect it? Like I find that's better than like a intermediary proxy of the actual thing. I could just have it inspect the thing, right?
100%. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Wow,
and I think, yeah, and in this case, so what happened here is that the bot actually created, or we created our own web fetch tool because it decided that the web fetch tool in the CLI was not safe enough. So it created its own, and then there was a conflict between those two tools. So basically it's overriding and saying, we have our own web fetch tool, don't worry about it. But it is working.
Great.
And so now, we can start teaching it things with skills, like what, can you, hold on, what YouTube skills are available? And I don't know, I wonder what model it's using. That's the other thing. Like, what model is this?
Yeah, that's true. What is the default it has here?
It's probably whatever was set that it picked. Just randomly.
Let's ask it. I'm curious. Sonnet 4.6. So that's the one I actually use in Max. Nice. Just see if we can try to get it to do something here. Because the next thing that you would do is, like, if you wanted to wire up to Gmail, for instance, right? You can use the GOG CLI. I think there's a Google word, but you have to set all this up, right? But this is just more planning and prompts. That's all this is.
Yep.
There's no.
That's exactly the magic of this, right? It's just like skills are like, it's just text, right? And like all these basic primitives, right? You just stack on top of each other and they're extremely powerful. It's pretty cool, actually.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree. And this is why everybody should build their own, because you're going to be building up I don't have access to any MCP servers yet. So we can install all this stuff and like get it to actually do something here. But this is what I essentially wanted to show, because I know we're out of time here. But the next step would be to like get skills working, because they're not quite working. But it's that easy to create your own bot that you can then interact with over Telegram and then just start building on it, right? It's your bot. What do you want it to do, right? Mine reads my email. It uses WorkIQ to connect to Outlook, right? It can do all kinds of things.
Tyler and I built one that can self-improve. So you can ask like it has the skills thing, but you can also, if you want it to like rebuild itself, it's capable of doing that as well.
It can, yeah, that's also true, right? Like you could say, looks like skills integration isn't working.
Go fix it.
Please fix yourself, restart, and come back. And it will attempt to do that, right? Because it can, right? So it can actually be building itself while you're working with it, which I do with Max. Max actually has built-in restart capabilities. But
cool.
Anyway, okay, cool. I've done enough.
That's cool. It's cool, like just kind of see it in action. Like I think the flow is what's important too. It's like why we do this is the flows are always evolving because our tools are evolving as well. From like you and I had picked up a lot of tips and tricks and even just this deep research in the conversation. So I love it. All right, I got to go as well. My wife's having some internet issues. I need to reboot everything in the house, so we're gonna go do that. I'm not, so that's good. So
you're taking all the bandwidth. That's why
I am. I'm sucking down all the bandwidth, so that's what's happening. And then need to reset some network adapters, I think, for her. So we'll see. But all right, we did it.
We did it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks everyone for letting it cook. We will be, if you're at MVP Summit next week, I will be there. Pierre's going to be there. Burke, you're not there, are you?
Yeah, of course I'm there.
Oh, Burke's there too. Oh, we're all there. I thought you just said you were.
We got a live stream happening from the reactor.
Whoa, nice.
Wait, is that one public? That's a public live stream, right?
I think so.
Okay, well, we probably should have wrote that. I need a link. You got to start promoting that puppy. It's next Wednesday.
We're so far behind.
Get your claw on it.
All right.
All right. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in to this Let It Cook. We'll see you next week or the week after, or whenever you join us next. And like, subscribe, and happy coding, happy prompting,
happy
clawing,
happy
clawing,
happy.
Go see Project Hail Mary. It's a great movie. Go see it.
See you guys.
Bye.